Former high school teacher fighting back against the school that fired her for criticizing critical race theory on social media. Carrie McCrae was a teacher in Hanover, Massachusetts, before the school district determined that those posts were grounds for termination. Now she's suing, saying the school violated her First Amendment rights. Just the latest example of an educator saying they were punished for disagreeing with CRT. Those CRT concerns expected to play a big role in the midterm elections, just like we saw in the Virginia governor's race. Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman Byron Donalds. Congressman, good to see you. The furor over critical race theory has died down a little bit in the month following the off-year elections, but do you expect it to ramp back up again as we head into the midterm cycle?
Well, I'll say it's probably not hitting the news cycles right now, but it hasn't gone anywhere. When I talk to parents back in my district and other parents across the country, the battle against CRT is alive and well. What's happened now is that elections have occurred, and so you have some school districts who are trying to figure out what their next path is going to be. But let's be very clear. Parents are alert. They are looking. They're paying attention. They're filing FOIA requests. They want to know what's going on in their child's classroom. They have every right to. And teachers who have issues with CRT shouldn't be fired. They should be commended.
Now, Rhonda Nassib, who is a member of Fight for Schools, told USA Today, quote, "This is a movement that's not going to slow down. Parents are never going to be quiet again. We are never going to be asleep at the table when it comes to our children, their education, their upbringing." This did start with concerns about critical race theory, but now it has branched into so many other things that parents have discovered are going on in their children's education. A lot of it is a result of the kids being home doing remote learning.
That's exactly right. I mean, look, my own wife and myself, we looked at some of the things going on in the classroom. We were appalled as well. But that's what every parent is looking at. It's not just CRT. It's also gender fluidity. The fact that you can have a child who's trying to change their gender identity while the school district is hiding that from parents. Parents are sick of that. And that's not a political thing. That's a parental rights thing. Parents send their children to school to learn, to get educated. That's one of the very things that makes our country the best in the world, is that education is so robust and there's so many access points. But what we are not going to allow is children to be indoctrinated to service a leftward agenda. We're not going to have it. Parents aren't going to stand for it. They're not going anywhere. So
let me ask you, if I could, about this. And I've seen the complaints of some black parents to say, look, we don't think that our children, our African-American children, are getting the education in black history in this country that they need to. Would you allow that the education system needs to do a better job of that?
I totally agree. Listen, when we talk about black history or a history of slavery, racism, Jim Crow, segregation, what I'm talking about is not putting in subjective viewpoints, which is what critical race theory does. I fully support teaching all history. We should be teaching all history. It should be far more robust than the public school system actually does today. Kids can learn if you give them the information and you set the standards high. Unfortunately, in a lot of public schools today, what you're seeing is they're trying to lower standards as a way to accomplish some equity. But the only thing that's going to happen when you lower standards is that all children will suffer, no matter what their skin color is.
Congressman Byron Donalds of the great state of Florida, it's always great to get your perspective on things. Good to have you back again, too. I'll see you soon.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
All right.